Welcome back to the channel. Today we're breaking down main card of UFC 323, last pay-per-view this year. The first fight I want to break down is Tatsuro Taira versus Brandon Moreno. Tatsuro Taira is a very strong grappler with excellent back-taking ability. Once he gets your back, he's dangerous. His striking has improved, but defensively he still has big holes, especially his boxing defense. There's almost no head movement. Brandon Moreno, on the other hand, is one of the most well-rounded flyweights in recent years. He's a clean boxer with fast combinations, and he's also a very capable grappler himself. On the ground, he's extremely hard to hold down. Only one man has really controlled him in recent years, and that was Alexander Pantoja. That's not a bad look at all, considering Pantoja is the best grappler in the division. Moreno has 64% takedown defense, and he usually scrambles up very quickly. I think that's going to make it difficult for Taira to consistently get dominant positions. So here's my pick. I'm going with Brandon Moreno by a 29-28 decision. I think his boxing is going to be the difference. Taira's lack of head movement is a huge opening. Taira will probably have moments, but over 3 rounds, I trust Moreno's striking. Let's move on to the next fight. Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov. Jan still carries that legendary Polish power, but that's not all he brings. His calf kicks are excellent, and when he needs to, he can mix in his wrestling, like he did against Alex Pereira, where he took him down and controlled him early. He's coming off a very close decision loss to Carlos Ulberg, and honestly, a lot of people thought Jan won that fight. He may be older, a bit slower, but he's still very technical. Guskov is a pretty solid striker, explosive, dangerous early, good power, but he's not the best grappler. We've already seen big holes in his ground game. Billy Elikana was able to take his back and control him. Volkan Ozdemir submitted him in the first round. So yes, Guskov is dangerous on feet, but he's one-dimensional, and his defensive grappling is a clear weakness. If Jan mixes it up, strikes at range, kicks the legs, clinches when needed, and uses his wrestling, he should win this fight. My pick is Jan Blachowicz by decision. Let's break down Cejudo versus Talbot. Cejudo is coming off 3 losses, but all against elite names: Aljamain Sterling, Merab Dvalishvili, and Song Yadong. His style is still the same: constant feints, feinting the level change to land upstairs, always trying to disguise his entries. His wrestling is obviously world-class. His ability to get takedowns is still great, but his ability to hold people down hasn't been impressive lately. Even when he gets you down, he struggles to keep you there. Talbot has already shown he can get up from takedowns. Even in the Barcelos fight, he showed that he can get up from ground. And honestly, this might annoy some people, but Barcelos does a better job controlling opponents on the ground than Cejudo. Talbot can make this fight much easier with the right game plan. Take the center of the octagon. Put Cejudo on the back foot to make his takedowns harder. Use the jab and the body jab. Use his massive height and reach advantage. And since Cejudo knows he has to close the distance, he's going to blitz like he always does. And that's where Talbot's counters can shine. Talbot is a very sharp counter-striker. With the size, the footwork, and the counterpunching, I'm picking Peyton Talbot, 30-27. Co-main event time: Alexander Pantoja versus Joshua Van. This fight is going to be an absolute banger. On one side, you have the experienced champion, Alexander Pantoja, and on the other, Joshua Van, a fighter still early in his career, but already fighting for a title. Pantoja is one of the best grapplers in the UFC. His backtake ability might be the best in the entire promotion. And honestly, this could be another ruby on Pantoja's championship belt. What Pantoja does extremely well are his blitzes. He'll throw a fast combination, mixing head and body, and often finishing with a kick. Or he uses those blitzes just to close the distance and secure a takedown. But there is a downside. During those blitzes, he can get reckless. He gets cracked in almost every fight. But he just eats the shots. Pantoja has a granite chin. If the fight goes to the ground, I think Pantoja will be physically stronger. Van is a bit smaller, so Pantoja should be able to control him and potentially finish with a submission. But Van absolutely has a path to victory. He's a great boxer, and we've seen fighters like Urseg have success boxing Pantoja. Pantoja slows down later in fights, while Van adds up on strikes. He actually reminds me a bit of Max Holloway with that non-stop volume. When Pantoja starts slowing down, Van should go heavy to the body. He already holds the second most body shots landed in a UFC fight. That could be key. My pick? Pantoja by submission. But Van is a future champion. It's just not his time yet. Main event is the rematch between Merab Dvalishvili and Petr Yan. The first time they fought, Merab completely dominated Yan. And honestly, we might be looking at a repeat. Only worse for Yan this time. The problem is simple. Merab is just a terrible matchup for him. Yan uses a very tight high guard, with his hands glued to his chin. That style works great against strikers, but it leaves him wide open for level changes. Even when Yan sees the takedown coming, his hands don't drop quickly enough for underhooks, so Merab is able to wrestle over and over again. In the Figueiredo fight, Yan tried adjusting by switching to a long guard and framing more, and that could help against Merab. But I don't think it's enough against Merab. Not with the version of Merab we've seen lately. Merab's striking has improved massively. We saw it in the Corey Sandhagen fight, where he almost finished Corey, and we saw it again when he cracked Umar Nurmagomedov. Merab's hands are no longer a weakness. He can actually hurt Yan on the feet now, which makes the takedown threat even more dangerous. In their first fight, Yan often ended up stuck in front headlock position. And after watching the second Sean O'Malley fight, we know Merab can attack submissions from there. I'm not saying he's going to sub Yan, but with how quickly Merab is improving, you can't rule anything out. And of course, we can't forget the biggest advantage Merab has, his never-ending cardio. He can shoot takedowns every 20 seconds for 25 minutes straight. He doesn't get tired. He doesn't slow down. He doesn't give you space to breathe. And unless Yan completely reinvents his defensive wrestling, he will spend most of this fight stuffing shots, getting dragged to the cage, or working from bad positions. So with all that said, I'm picking Merab by decision. His pressure, pace, improved striking, and relentless wrestling are just too much for Yan stylistically. And unless Yan produces something completely new, this rematch will look a lot like the first one. And that's my breakdown for main card. Let me know in the comments who you are picking. Do you think Yan can make the adjustments, or will Merab dominate again? Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.